guys have to do to run the ball better against Baltimore than the rest?
Yeah, I think it starts with execution, making sure the 11 guys on the field are on the same page, and then it comes down to winning your one-on-ones. They did a good job of sending backers through and really compressing the box, but I think we have a good plan to counter some of those adjustments.
Joe, how challenging is that when it's pre-snap and suddenly the numbers aren't adding up and you're trying to figure out who to block who?
Yeah, it's tough. There's a few times where the alignments were a little bit off, and we were off a guy, one less guy to block and stuff. And in those situations, you have to try and make the best of it, get 3 or 4 yards, get yourself on track, because this team, the Ravens, does a great job when you're 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 plus, and it's hard to convert on those because they have so many different pressures. But for us, it's, there might be a couple ugly runs, but we have to get the most out of those and make sure, try and put us in formations where we're not going to have too many ugly boxes, and we have answers for everything we can do.
Did you watch the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game on your break?
Yeah, I watched the second half of it, and we've already watched the Pittsburgh offense, obviously, against the Ravens defense.
It looked like Pittsburgh just never lost the commitment to keep pounding those body punches, and then they paid off at the end.
Yeah, they did a good job, especially in the fourth quarter. They just kind of were. They were okay with the 2-3 yard runs early in the game, and then they broke a couple late in the game. It wasn't the prettiest, but they did have some body punches, and they ran the ball a bunch of times, and I think Najee almost had 100 yards, rushing, and it was a good performance. It was really gritty by them, and they fought for that. But no, we saw that and we noticed it, and it's something that we're gonna try and figure out ourselves.
Joe, when you played here under Shanahan, Kyle, it just seemed to me that he never lost the commitment to run during a game, even if you go into the second half of the game down 10 or 14 points, and it was effective eventually. How do you think it's hard for coaches to do that, to maintain a commitment to the running game?
Yeah, if you look at our last game, we were I don't know how many yards we had, but it was probably less than 20 in the first half, and we had moved the ball very well, and so I think when you look at a team like the Ravens, they're kind of banged up in the secondary. We want to make those passes. We want to make those big chunk plays. It wasn't really working for us, and I can't blame Coach for not running the ball 40 times last game. Like, we're getting 2 yards a carry, and that's something we have to be better on. But it is hard to stay committed to it when it's not working. There is something to be said about body blows and finishing a game, but when you're not getting first downs, you got to find a way to try and get those first downs.
Joel, Kevin didn't announce who was going to start at right tackle, but if it is James Hudson, we've gotten to see a little bit of him. What do you guys need to do to help kind of get him ready?
Yeah, he's been preparing all year. He's, practiced at right tackle, left tackle, and he's a guy that's been growing throughout the year. I think Coach Callahan and Scotty Peters have done a good job of just working on a weakness here or there and trying to develop that weakness. But it starts with communication in the huddle, making sure we're on the same page, and then Wyatt has to be good with him, communicating if he's the guy that goes out there. But I think it's like anybody else that's out there, you know what I mean? He's got some experience. He's probably played, 100 snaps this year. And he's a guy that's really worked to try and improve himself, and I think it's a credit to him and the coaches.
How do the coaches find the time to work on a player like that when you have to prepare for a game?
Yeah, well, we've been pretty banged up, so he's had the opportunity to get a lot of reps, and Coach Callahan, and they do a great job. We call it opportunity period, so we have a little bit after practice where it's 10, 15, 20 minutes where the young guys can work with the coaches and still develop, and that's something they've really stressed this year. So him and a lot of the other young guys have gotten that, and we do. He gets so many reps on scout team against guys like Miles and Jadeveon and stuff like that it really does give him a chance to develop.
Going back to that first topic, Joel, do you think it's tough for Kevin as a play caller to make that decision whether or not to go strength versus strength, run game versus run defense, or try to attack what seems like a weakness in the Ravens' pass defense?
Yeah, I think it's a balance. I think you've seen it multiple times this year, and I think our identity overall when we're playing well is that run the ball. But if a team's going to take it away, if you watched last game, there was enough deep passes to the tight ends, to guys that were getting. Jarvis had a huge game. We were making plays, we just didn't make enough in the passing game. But I think there's a fine line. You just pick and choose, and I think we have all the faith in the world in Coach Stefanski and AVP to put together a game plan. But it's tough. There's going to be some tough sledding. There's going to be some tough runs, and I think we're ready to, have a better game than last game.
Against Pittsburgh, did the Ravens devote as many people to the line of scrimmage as they did against you guys?
No, when we bring our, sub, 3 receiver sets out, they were matching us with base last game, which they haven't shown all year. And so, we got matched with base a lot, and Pittsburgh did have some nickel fronts that they were running the ball against. So it's been different. That's why tendencies going into the game were a little bit different, but we'll have a better plan for that this
So
time.
how does being down 2 of your top 3 tight ends fit into this conversation about committing to the run?
Yeah, it's I think we're the probably heaviest 13 personnel team in the league. We run it a lot, and those are all 3 guys that are important to the run game and the passing game. So it's really one of those things that we're trying to adjust to on the fly. Hoop's a good leader in that room, and then you got Miller, who's been on the team for a while now and had to be almost activated for one of the games earlier this year. So I think we have guys that are prepared to go out there and play, and maybe we won't have as many 3 tight end sets, but we can still run 2 tight ends, 1 tight end, and there's things we can do in our offense.
Is Johnny somebody that can step in there if you need him to get to 13?
Yeah, I think we saw that in the preseason. He had some good plays. He might not be the inline guy, but he can be the guy that's off the ball, moving guy, and can play that fullback, tight end kind of hybrid position. So he's definitely an option for us.
You're still leading guards in Pro Bowl voting, so I was wondering if you had a Pro Bowl stump speech to get more votes.
Oh no, we're really focused on the Ravens right now. I mean, it's always an honor to be mentioned in that, and it's pretty cool. And I think we have a lot of deserving guys that have played well this year. But as a team, we want to play better. So that's kind of our main goal right now, is to try and find a way to win this week.
So how did you benefit from the bye, and what kind of sense do you have, like, team-wide about coming off the bye?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was late this year. It was one of those ones where you were like, man, like I was in such a groove that it was almost weird to have the bye because you've been playing so long. But for me, it was good. I didn't realize I needed the rest till that Tuesday or Wednesday. I was like, man, I'm kind of exhausted right now. When you get out of your routine, you kind of throw it off. But I got to spend time with the family and refresh. And really, it's that energize. You get away from the building, get to your family and friends. We stayed in town, but it was good to just kind of be away from it, get away from the building, and you come in with a new outlook. But we've had good energy, good practices this week, and I think guys are really refocused and ready to attack this closing stretch.
Mitchell, you guys haven't put a run together yet. Now would be the time to do it. What gives you the most confidence you guys can?
Yeah, I think we have the guys. I think we've shown in our wins what we can be and what we want to be, and we got to put it together. We have a tough stretch, and it starts with the Ravens, who are leading our division still. So it starts with one though, and that's what we got to do. We can't really think big picture yet. We got to get one to really start some momentum.
Is the fan in you like how backloaded this is with everybody in the division kind of playing each other down the stretch?
I mean, it just shows like anything can happen. You know what I mean? We saw last week Pittsburgh beat the Ravens and Cincinnati lost, but I mean, there's so many things that go on. You can't even be the guy that starts looking at the schedule. You just got to whatever happens. And when we get to the end of the year, we'll see where we're at.
You mentioned the roller coaster this has been for you guys. The fact that there's 5 to play and everything is still in front of you, even though maybe you haven't, played at the level that you guys had hoped to or expected to. Does that give you guys some energy here down the stretch, knowing that even though we haven't been at our best, everything's there for the taking?
Yeah, we're in December and we can still play. We're probably in the playoffs right now. If you think about it big picture, but it's good. We're excited. We're definitely happy to have the opportunity to play for what we want in front of us, and we're not making off-season plans. So we got everything in front of us, like you said. But it starts this week with Baltimore, and that's really where Coach Stefanski's had our focus this week.
You mentioned the late bye, Joel. Austin said yesterday that he thought some guys were running out of gas before the bye just because it had been 12 games. Did you get that sense that all the guys were dragging?
For me, it's hard to tell, like, each individual guy, you know what I mean? I think Coach did a good job of, trying to lay off us in practice when we could. But, I mean, it's football, man, and there's some long seasons, and guys do get worn down over time. We got a couple guys banged up last game. But I couldn't tell on an individual basis. Me personally, I didn't really notice it, like I said, until I got to the bye week. But no, guys are, training and stuff, and that's what we got to play for, these long seasons.
Could it it almost have a benefit for you guys though? You had to wait so long, but you might be playing some teams who had their bye, I don't know, week 7, week 8, something like that.
Yeah, hopefully it refreshes us and guys are ready to go. I know just from a practice and meeting standpoint, guys seem refreshed and refocused. And if teams had earlier buys, they're probably on that long stretch of games now.